We're also tracking this story from the United States today. New photos from Jeffrey Epstein's estate have been made public, showing many powerful figures in his orbit, including President Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton. Jeffrey Epstein, of course, the late disgraced financier, sex trafficker. The images also include former Donald Trump advisor Steve Bannon, Microsoft founder Bill Gates. Some of the men have previously linked to Epstein. One image shows Trump with 6 women with leis whose faces were blacked out. The House Oversight Committee in the United States saying the images came from Epstein's estate. None of the released images depict any sort of sexual misconduct, nor are believed to show any underage girls. Let's bring in Steve Farnsworth, political analyst, author who's covered presidential communications along the way. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for taking your time.
Sure thing, Tom.
All right, the significance of the release of these photos. What do they tell us? What do they mean?
Well, they don't tell us a great deal. We know that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were in the same room at the same time. They were friendly, and this is further evidence of that. This is not about advancing the case as much as it is returning the subject of the political conversation in the United States to the Epstein files. These photos were released by Democrats with no real explanation or background material. They came from the Epstein estate. And so this is a day in which Democrats once again turn the conversation to the Epstein files.
So exactly, the Democrats are trying to put pressure and trying to make sure this stays in the public eye.
Right, and it's a week now before the deadline for the release of the information that the Justice Department has, the U.S. Justice Department has on the Epstein files. You recall there was an effort for the last several months by President Trump to keep Republicans from passing what was called a discharge petition to get that information that the Justice Department has on the Epstein files and then put that information out. And so by releasing the files today, it's sort of like a warm-up act, if you will, for the release of the files next week. It's putting more pressure, I think. Democrats are trying to put more pressure on Republicans to come forward with as much material as possible next week.
There are only about 19 photos, give or take, out of thousands. What else are you anticipating, Steve?
Well, I tend to think that the conversation will continue to be problematic for the president. I think that one of the first things that you need to know about scandal management is not to have this drip, drip, drip of a conversation. You want to move on to other subjects. You want to focus on other things if you're in the middle of a scandal like this. But the president's efforts over the last year to try to keep this information from becoming public and to limit what does become public really is creating a significant challenge, I think, for the Republicans to try to talk about something else. Whenever the conversation moves to something else, it doesn't stay there for very long because the Epstein files are still in the offing.
Steve Farnsworth, political analyst and political author as well. Good to see you, Steve, on this Friday. Thanks for taking time for CTV News.
Thanks, Todd.